Hey everyone, welcome. If you're in the nonprofit world, you know that every single dollar, every single minute absolutely counts. So today, we're going to dive into a really important topic: child sponsorship software, and more specifically, how to figure out if that investment is actually fueling your mission.
So let's just start with the biggest question on the table, right? Is your software investment really paying off? It's a huge challenge for so many organizations to justify spending on tech, but getting a clear answer here is absolutely essential if you want to maximize your impact.
Okay, so why even bother with this? Why measure the ROI, the return on investment, of your software? Well, the first thing we've got to understand is that this is about so much more than just money. See, when you measure your ROI, you're not just crunching numbers. You are proving, with data, that every resource is being used as effectively as possible. This lets you show exactly how your software improves donor retention, how it leads to real growth in your programs, which, at the end of the day, guarantees that more of that money is going directly to the children who need it the most.
So how do we actually do this? Where do we even begin to measure? A really great way to think about it is to focus on three core pillars. Think of these as the main areas where your software is going to deliver the most obvious, tangible value.
First up, we've got donor retention. This is huge, because a steady stream of funding is basically the lifeblood of your entire organization. Your software should be the engine that keeps those amazing supporters engaged and committed for the long haul. Second pillar, cost savings. Oh, yeah. This is where automation becomes your absolute superpower. It just slashes the time you spend on administrative stuff, freeing up your team to focus on the mission itself, not just on the paperwork. And our third pillar is sponsorship growth. I mean, this is the ultimate goal, isn't it? This is all about expanding your program, using your software to connect with more sponsors and, in turn, change more children's lives. It's that simple. And this is where it all clicks into place. Each of those pillars, well, they can be tracked with real, concrete numbers. For retention, you're going to look at things like recurring donations. For savings, you literally count the number of staff hours saved. And for growth, you're watching new sponsor signups. See, these aren't just random numbers, they are the actual data points that tell the story of your impact. All right, so you've got the big ideas, you know what you need to track, but how do you actually calculate the return? Let's demystify the math. I promise, it is way more straightforward than it looks. Here it is, the standard ROI formula. Now, don't let it intimidate you. It's simply the money you gained minus your total costs, and then you divide all of that by the total costs. Multiply it by 100, and you get your percentage. It's a really powerful tool for getting some clarity. The whole thing really just breaks down into three simple steps. First, calculate your costs. Just add up your upfront fees and any ongoing subscriptions. Second, you calculate your gains. This is where you tally up savings from automation and any increase in donations. And finally, you just plug those numbers right into the formula. That's it. You've got your ROI percentage. And you know what the best part is? You probably don't even have to gather all this data by hand. Your software's own built-in analytics can do all the heavy lifting for you. You can set up a nice, easy rhythm, check your financial impact monthly, peak at operational efficiency weekly, and track that bigger program growth maybe once a quarter. All the data you need is right there, at your fingertips. Okay, now that we know how to measure our ROI, let's talk about how to make it even better. It's time to go from theory to practice and actually put this knowledge into action. And get this, the results can be pretty dramatic. We're talking about a 15 to 20% jump in successful sponsor matches, and that's often within the very first year of tracking this stuff. I mean, just imagine what a boost like that could do for your mission.
So how do you get there? Well, it really comes down to a few key things. First, empower your team with good training. Then, automate everything you can: reporting, communications, you name it. Start using the smarter tools you have, like AI analytics, to spot trends. And maybe most importantly, make sure every single piece of technology you use is directly aligned with your core mission.
So let's pull back from the formulas and the spreadsheets for a second, because as we start to wrap this up, it is so important to remember that the true meaning of ROI, well, it isn't found in a spreadsheet. It's found in your mission.
Dr. Richard Schultz, an expert in this field, put it perfectly. He said, measuring impact is not just about numbers, it's about the change created in people's lives. That right there, that's the key. Your ROI isn't just a percentage, it is a direct measure of the real-world change that you're making possible.
At the end of the day, this data becomes your strategic guide. It helps you refine your whole strategy by fine-tuning communications. It lets you allocate your resources so much more wisely by finding those little inefficiencies, and it helps you demonstrate your impact with hard numbers. This is how you show your stakeholders measurable results and build the trust you need to keep growing.
So, just remember this. Your data tells a story. It's the story of your impact, your efficiency, and your mission. The only question left is, what story will you tell?